Respawn Network.
Welcome everybody to episode 124 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. I was checked. Oh, there it is. Devon fixed it. At first, I was like, "There's something wrong with that overlay," but it seems Devon has fixed it over there on Twitch. So we are live and ready to talk about video games. Did I say 126?
No, you said 124.
I did say 124.
So, yep.
I probably said that wrong. Mike will probably tell me that I said it wrong for some reason. So
Just
I am your
get
host.
rid of the
Steven.
and. It's 124. It's not 124. It's 124. And is like
Sure.
a decimal point. It's like
I've
if
heard-
you were saying 124, it'd be 100.24. So just lose
I've heard
the
it
and.
I've heard it
124.
So I am your host,
Salty
Steve, along
already.
with Devon and Mike, the most athletic freelancer, obviously. Obviously, not so
Obviously.
much anymore. Devon is becoming the most athletic.
I'm
pretty
sorry?
soon.
Is that? Do you need to borrow these, Steven? You need to borrow my glasses? I thought you had eye surgery.
Simmer down. Let's get into this, right? Because there's a lot of things that we need to chat about. First of all, we have what we think might be, I don't know, we don't really know when the Xbox Series X is going to be released. We don't know when the PlayStation 5 is going to be released. We kind of have an idea that maybe it's going to be sometime around November, right? I mean, that's kind of like the rumors that's going around. Steven sounds like he's underwater. How do I sound like I'm underwater? We're going to take a real quick break here. I'm going to double check this.
I don't know how.
Get some crazy amounts of feedback. I'll do this. Devon,
Sounds fine to me. Yeah, so we're going to talk about all the good things. Outriders, PlayStation 5 information, possible leaks, possible hoaxes. Some good back compat Xbox news for the day. So we'll see how that all goes. If people are interested in back compatibility,
I guess I need to talk so I can actually hear my voice here. Hold on one second.
Yeah, you might need to do that. Talk. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. No Anthem news this week. We had some great Anthem news last week. I mean, it was news, right? You're muted, Mike, obviously, if in case you were talking.
I had like great jokes going. Anyway. Yes, unfortunately, no Anthem news. We will come back to you with Anthem news when we get it. But yeah, we got a great show lined out.
I mean,
And
there
has
might be
come
a
back
little.
from he's come back from his underwater trip. I think he's
Oh,
is he
you're
back with us today?
10 episodes
Honest
behind.
89 says, "What was the news?" I'm like 10 episodes behind on the show. So news about the show, Axion. I guess news
Anthem
about
news?
the show is that there's
News
not
about
so much
Anthem, right?
news, but so Anthem has announced that they are on incubation mode right now. They're getting ready to figure out what exactly 2.0 is going to be. So there's a lot of things that they don't know yet. They're going to be trying a lot of things. They're going to be showing us things that they're trying. A lot of those things probably will not make it into 2.0. So the team is very small. They're working on what
30
exactly
people.
the game's going to be. It's only 30 people. My guess is it's probably not going to come out until 2022 sometime. My best guess is it's probably going to be late 2022. Possibly 2023, who knows, depends on how long quarantine happens, because I mean, I know a lot of people have said that quarantine hasn't really affected people's development times, but I have to imagine that they're accounting for a lot of that, because it is going to take a lot longer to develop things. So right now 1.0 is not going to get any updates. It's just not something that's going to be happening. There are small little things in the game, like there was a celebration for Helena of Tarsus. It was like her birthday, and it was just like a mission that you had to do. You had to kill so many legendaries and then legendary creatures, and then you were given a couple tokens and some shards or some coins, and that was it. So those are the kinds of things that you're going to see in 1.0. So instead of us like beating horses to death every episode talking about Anthem 1.0, we decided we're going to branch out, talk about video games, because that's what we love to do. And then when Anthem 2.0 rolls around, we'll jump back into talking about that. So that's kind of the big news for us. We are branching out. That's why we've really been having a lot of different interviews from a lot of different people. We've been able to talk to Greg Kasavin of Supergiant Games, which is really big for us. Someone that's been in the industry for a really long time, creating some amazing video games. So, and we have a lot of interviews actually coming up in the future also that I think are going to be really beneficial to our listeners. So we hope that you stick around. We hope that you share it. We have some we have some pretty cool things coming up, interview wise in the future. But one thing that we do want to do is, first of all, we would love to thank all of our patrons that are supporting us on patreon.com/freelancer codex. We want to thank Julius, Nathan B, Michael R, Trent B, Mana and Steel, Scout 69, Dragonheart 76, Jeffrey H, and the Gameplay Experience. Thank you so much for your support. It helps us out a ton keeping this thing rolling, knowing that there are people pushing behind us and encouraging us to continue to put out the quality show that I think that we put out. I think we put out a really quality show that offers a lot to the industry, where a lot of, I think we do a good job. So thank you so much. So Excellent says, last show I heard from you guys was the voiceover for female PC and Anthem. Yeah, Sarah was a great guest on the show.
Yeah.
We hopefully will have her back sometime in the future. Hopefully they ask her back to work on Anthem. It'd be sad if we go back to 2.0 and the female freelancer is a different voice. That would be weird. Or they could just pull the whole Destiny thing and not even have your character be voiced anymore.
Have a voice, yeah.
I guess that is a possibility, right? So
It's true.
Not one we like to discuss, though.
No, it's not. But we just don't know anything that's going to be happening for 2.0. I mean, it's so far off that I don't know. So, all right, so let's go ahead and actually, I want to know what you guys have been up to, what games you've been playing, what things you have been doing since last week. Is there anything that's changed? Are you still, grinding away at Lego, at the Lego thing on Forza, Mike?
No, I haven't played that recently because, and we have it further down in our show that we're going to discuss, but Minecraft Dungeons. And that's my little tease for when we get down to the bottom. So that's all.
Cool. Devon, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves. Having a great time with that. I played Minecraft Dungeons with Mike the other night. I've had some frustrating moments, which we'll talk about when we get to there again.
Fault.
Not Mike's fault. No, it had nothing to do with the game when we played. Just when Minecraft Dungeons came out, then I can talk about the issues that I had. I've been playing Days Gone. I played some more about that. We can talk about that now or whenever.
No, I want to hear about your Days Gone experience.
Okay. So I'm kind of having some morality issues with Days Gone, right? So I've progressed some more into the story, about 2 hours, and it's basically, it kind of seems like they send you on missions where it's like, hey, these people aren't with us, go kill them, right? Like, these people are causing us trouble, go kill them, go take care of them. And it's just like, I'm just going out and just killing people just because they're not part of the group, or, they're in somebody's way, and it's like, I don't know about
like the
that.
game's not giving you a
You want
clear
some more
purpose on
meat
why
here.
you have to.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't like. I play lots of first-person shooters where you kill each other over and over and over again. But when they're just sending you on a mission to be like, these people are causing us problems with our shipments, go kill them, and you sneak up on them and you're stabbing them and cutting their throats and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do this.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
I mean, it's fine when I'm killing the zombies because they're zombies, right?
Right.
So that's just been like my issue the last couple of days, where I'm like, oh, let's go play, play some more of this, and then I'm just like, even in like Sea of Thieves, you kill other pirates, but they're cartoon pirates. It's not like and maybe that goes back to the issue that Mike talked about a couple episodes ago, where the realism is maybe too much on some of these games, where I'm just not interested in brutally murdering people. Even though it's a video game, it's just like, that's a person that they were sleeping by that tent right there, and I just snuck up on them and stabbed him in the neck and killed them, just for no reason. They weren't bothering me, but somebody told me to go kill him, so I killed him. And so I don't know. That's some of the things I've been thinking about for that game, and I don't know. It kind of brings that issue about, I haven't been able to turn off that kind of issue. I haven't had that problem in the past with other games where they're like, Red Dead Redemption or whatever, where you just going around and you can just go shoot somebody or whatever,
I really think that it's the zombie genre that makes people have that, because in a zombie game and in zombie movies, like the zombies are supposed to be the bad guys, but they're never the bad guys, right?
Yep.
It's always the humans are
The
so
creator
much
of.
worse than they're so
Oh,
much
yeah.
worse because people suck. Like people suck, I get that. But I mean that's what The Walking Dead does. Like the zombies are just there. They're just part of the scenery. They come in and they kill people when it's convenient, but it's always the people that are the bad guys. And in that situation, when you're like, aren't we supposed to be like banding together? Like, why are we like, part of motorcycle gangs trying to kill each other when there are zombie hordes out there? So, like, yeah, I totally get that. Like, and that's why I don't like zombie games. Like, I'm uninterested in the zombie genre. Like, I don't think it's interesting. I don't think there's been any like movie or game that's come out and like said something new in that genre to where you're like, oh, this is actually really interesting, like I mean I can watch Zombieland because that's just like satire on the whole zombie thing, big deal. But yeah, I really think it is part of the zombie genre that it's like you're either really into it and like you're like, hey, this is what the zombie genre is. I should go kill these people because if not they're going to take my motorcycle and they're going to drive down somewhere else and take it. But you're right, it's like I don't care to like go and maim people. So
I think the only ones
that's
that's,
one of the things
there's some that are really making that kind of changes, like Dead Rising, where when the people are like trying to block off things, or it's like a gang of people or whatever, they're at least, in suits of armor, they look wacky or whatever, and they're trying to attack and kill you. So it's not just like, hey, go kill that random person who doesn't know you're coming and sneak up on him and stab him,
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I guess Dead Rising also has a different tone to it. It has a way different tone than Days Gone. It's supposed to be goofy, right?
Yeah, and that's where I think, it's easier when you can be like, okay, this is just a video game, but it's like when I'm playing that game, it's a video game, but it's not as stylized. It's more realistic looking and those kind of things, and it's just been like lately I'm like, I don't really know if I want to keep playing, where I'm just have to go kill random people, just because.
And luckily, you own like a billion games that you can go play and get over that. Because I mean, you
can go
but
change
you've also made like a point this year to actually complete more games.
Yeah, so I'm trying to complete more games, but then that's where it comes with the problem of, okay, what do I do? Do I not complete this game? Do I complete this game? I don't know.
Or you force yourself to play it, because that kind of sucks too when you feel
Yeah,
like
I
you
mean,
have to force yourself
when
to play a game.
you're not enjoying playing the game and you're just like, I could just go play, a game where I'm having a great time. I don't know. It's tricky.
I don't think anyone will get mad at you if you like put Days Gone down and move on to something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, the big reason, that for the PlayStation, the next game I'm looking forward to is really just Ghost of Tsushima, and that's kind of about it. But, I mean, even in that game, it's still like, okay, go and kill these people,
You're just going to go murder more people.
So that's where it comes, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm just as I'm getting older, the moral dilemmas are getting to me or something. I don't know.
I think it's kids. I think kids ruin everything.
No,
I'm teasing. That's not what I think. But I think that has something to do with it.
No,
right?
I think everything.
And I think that has something to do with it. Because Devon, back when you were, just batching it, you were just dropping all the bombs and killing all the things and shooting all the mans, and then you had kids, and now you're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this with my kids watching. So
Well, I mean, I don't usually play I play that out in the garage. Any of those violent games, I don't play until they're asleep, right? So,
right.
No, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. It's something I've been thinking about this week, and something that's just recently popped up in my gaming experience. Whereas before, I mean, there was times in the past like Grand Theft Auto, those kind of things, where I was like, nah, I don't really want to play this. It's not what I enjoy or what I want to do. Sure, there's some like satire games. Like I played the original like Saints Row game, which was like basically kind of a spoof of Grand Theft Auto, but it's just like a really wacky, like, okay, let's go up and do a body slam or some kind of crazy wrestling move on somebody on the street, and it's just like that was just a funny way where you're just going around and you're blowing off steam, at the end of the day, just hitting somebody with a bat.
Right.
But
well, it's also very possible, Devin, that it's hitting a lot closer to home because we are in kind of like a pandemic situation. So, maybe. I mean, it's very possible that you're like, yeah, this is a little too close to home right now, especially because when you think of like video games, you're like, there's no way people would really act like this. And then you read Twitter and you're like,
no, I mean, when you read the internet, You're like, yeah, people
Oh,
would be like that.
or you just watch the news, just
I don't want you shouldn't watch news. All right.
Yeah.
So moving on, I have actually been playing Dark Souls 3. So last week I was like, hey, I don't know if I want to keep playing this game because you really do just kind of like beat your head against the wall. But I think I finally figured it out. Like I hit the point to where I had the realization of, oh, this is why these games are good. And you're like, okay, I'm going to finish this game. I'm going to continue, learning the patterns of these bosses because I've got to the point where it's like, I actually enjoy doing this. Like, I see why people like it. I see why these games are so popular because at some point you're like, no, I can do this. If I just execute like in this way, I can beat this boss and I can move on. So so I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to continue to play it on stream. I'm having a lot of fun doing it there. I've got a couple people from Russia that are hanging out with me while I do that. Shout out
awesome.
to if you're a random that's like cheering me on from all the way over there because it's lunchtime when I stream super early in the morning. So.
That's funny.
So I'm going to continue doing that. All right, cool. And if there's nothing else, we like to thank everyone that's hanging out with us in chat. That's a hard thing to say. Axionis89, Phaedron's lurking over there. We see you, Phaedron. We see you over there. So I think we're going to jump over to the news. And I think I have a button for that.
All right. I got to talk to you about something.
And correspondent Michael from the field is going to give us a breakdown of a couple stats that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thanks, Steve. We're out in the field. We're talking to the people. We're hitting the streets. We're doing the things. We're doing all the things. So this news definitely comes on the tail end of what's been going on globally in the world. More people are inside. More people are home. More people are not branching out, but more people are exploring all the regions of digital media and physical media and movies and games and all things streaming and all things entertainment. Because what else are you going to do when you're home, when you're asked to be home?
Read a book.
You could read a book. There are some great books out there. My son is reading the Harry Potter series for the first time, and he's pretty excited. That's pretty cool. So, in the month of April, we're reporting here from the Media Play News that April video game disc sales. Got to pronounce that right, or else it gets really weird. Video game disc sales.
So this is actually unit sales. These aren't discs. So these numbers.
That's just the web address. He tricked you.
No, I got you. I got you. Okay, so more people are buying games. Obviously. That's it. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Mike. So in April, there were 808,000 Switches sold. There was 411,000 PS4s sold, and 329,000 Xbox One sold. And this is significant because these are the highest numbers of each platform so far, which is insane.
What I wonder is where they got the Xbox numbers, because Xbox doesn't release console sales numbers.
I mean, I don't know where they got it. I'm
made it up.
assuming that I read it on the internet, so it's true.
It's got to be true.
Like,
it's got to be true.
I mean, that's just those are insane numbers. So, I mean, if they can, I don't know. I guess it's bad that we're all quarantined, but it's good for at least our hobby is profiting and benefiting off of people staying home. So I guess that's good. That's a weird thing to say in that, but we try to look for silver linings in all these things. We know that people are suffering, and it's really frustrating for people that don't have jobs currently. But hey, people are playing video games, so get out there, play your Animal Crossing. Have you guys been watching the Twitter, the Animal Crossing, the Animal Talking game show that Gary Whitta is doing? So
I haven't.
Doing a live, a live talk show in Animal Crossing where he's getting a bunch of celebrities on, like Danny Trejo was on. Elijah Wood was on, and it's blown up crazily.
That's awesome.
And it's getting a lot of traction now. I wonder if something like that continues once quarantine is lifted and people go back to normal.
Nah, I don't think so, because they got more stuff to do.
So it's going back to making movies. So yeah, it's just kind of an interesting thing that's this microcosm of the quarantine, or people are finding ways to capitalize and to actually make content and make something of themselves. I mean, not that
but I
Not
also
that it
think,
needed
Steve,
that,
that,
but
that it's also showing a lot about what the country needs, what they want. I think there's a lot of things going to come from this quarantine. Media is going to be delivered differently, right? So right at the beginning of quarantine, I think it was Onward was in movie theaters, and then that got shipped straight to Disney Plus, right? And
yeah.
what else? The Trolls movie, I think they went straight to streaming services. So I think things are changing. I think we're going to see a different way to disperse media and entertainment, maybe. And I would actually hope that we do see that. I hope that we don't just go back to life before, where we stand in line at movie theaters, and I hope things are changing.
When
Yep.
was the last time you stood in line at a movie theater?
Have you gone to the
It
movie
was
theaters here in town?
So I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Rise of Skywalker.
No, when
So
was the
however
last time
long.
you stood in line for a theater?
I
Because you
mean,
said stand in line for a theater.
you still stand in line for it. You buy your tickets online, obviously, but you still stand in line and have to go through that physical. I have to stand behind this person to get to my seat. Concession stand, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's still there. You roll your eyes like it's not there, but it's not there.
No, I mean, I will be sad if like the movie theater experience goes away because I really enjoy like date night at the movies. Like I hate like I understand why people would want to just sit home and pay for their movie because I think that's something that needs to happen because I don't think theaters have really been like offering the type of experience that people want to spend that much money for.
Yeah.
But I kind of do like the idea of still going to theaters just for, maybe it is just to get away from my kids. Maybe I'll just pay someone like just to take my kids away. But I mean, that's something that I still wanted. I would love to still go to theaters. So speaking of theaters being canceled, so BlizzCon officially has been canceled. They said, hey, they waited kind of to the last minute. I don't know why they waited so long. I assume that people at Blizzard were like, yeah, there's no way this thing's going to happen. But they finally said they're going to cancel it. We assumed that they were just going to continue to do their digital thing like they do alongside BlizzCon. But they've also pushed that back, which I thought was kind of interesting. I don't exactly know why they would. At BlizzCon, usually they do a lot of their championship stuff, like Hearthstone's championship takes place during BlizzCon. I'm trying to think of what other esports they have that finish at BlizzCon, but I can't think of one because I think the Overwatch League ends at a different time. And then I think they might do the World of Warcraft PvP tournament there at BlizzCon, but that's all been canceled. I know that Jeff Keighley has said Blizzard is going to be part of his stuff, but I don't know if that's just going to be announcing Blizzard Immortal or something. I can't imagine that they're going to drop like Diablo 4 news with Jeff Keighley. That's something that they would say for a BlizzCon announcement. So I don't really know exactly why they're pushing it back, but they said they're going to try it for the beginning of next year to do a digital event. So, I mean, I think for like trade shows like that, like when we go to EA Play, like people see more from home at these trade shows than they ever would when they're actually there in person.
Yep.
Like when we were there in person, we stared at the back of a bunch of like camera gear, a bunch of people standing in the way when we were trying to watch panels, just because of the way that they had EA Play set up. It was like there were not many sight lines to where you could actually see the stage show out there in the sun in LA.
I mean, it's a cool, fun experience when you go and you're like, oh, that's exciting. But then after like the first day, it's like, oh, there's so many people crammed into the space because they don't manage it. They're just like, just come on in. Let's keep going. That's the same for E3 or, the Xbox briefing, any of those things. It's all the same. There's huge lines. Everybody's trying to get in to go see the same thing. And it's cool. Like when I, went to the Xbox briefing a couple years ago when they announced Halo Infinite. But I was like, they had a huge screen, but I was 150, 200 feet away from it. I'm like, what is that? Let me see.
Is that the Master Chief? What armor is that? Yeah, and then man, how disappointed were you when you're like, we're gonna finally see Halo Infinite, and they just got a short little trailer.
I was like, but I was still stoked. But yeah, it was frustrating.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to be there, but like for something like BlizzCon has a different feel than a lot of the trade shows because it's like Blizzard specific, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to EA Play and they've got Apex, they've got Star Wars, they got Anthem, they got FIFA, they got Madden. Like there's not like a huge like glue that holds all those things together. I mean, other than EA being the publisher, but it's not like that's the glue, right? Like Blizzard fans are Blizzard fans. Most of the time they come together and actually enjoy each other, unless you announce Diablo Immortal instead of Diablo 4, in which case they like turn on you.
Is this a joke?
Become rabid fans. Like, I mean, if BioWare, if BioWare themselves like had their own convention, I'm sure like that would be very similar to something like Blizzard, something like BlizzCon. So, all right. So next piece of news. This is something I don't like. There was some second extinction news that dropped, but I think we can skip that until like more stuff comes out. I mean, that's the dinosaur game that looks like Turok that's going to be coming out, 3-person multiplayer game where you can destroy dinosaurs. Sounds like a lot of fun.
I mean, it should be interesting. It's made on the Avalanche game engine, right? So they use for like Just Cause. They used that on Mad Max. They used it on Rage 2. You know, so it's being published by one of their studios. They have 4 studios now. So and they have their own publishing brand as well. So they're publishing their own games.
Wow. Good for them. But I think this is something that I saw. This was posted in our Discord by Scout. He is our resident VR expert, and I thought Mike actually might enjoy this one. So, Mike, you want to read us this next news?
Oh,
here?
yeah.
I do. So part of my family's makeup is we do Disney a lot. That's just something that we choose to do. And with Star Wars Land coming out this past couple years, it's just awesome experience, amazing thing, really cool to be in a new park, really cool to be in a new world, just super fun, right? What was announced was that Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, a new VR experience coming later this year. So what this is a VR that is set in Batu, which is the town that I guess it's the planet. It's the planet of Batu, I think. It's the planet that you're on when you go to Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And so when it sets in the timeline of Star Wars, it sets in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And it's in the Black Spire outpost of Batu, which is where you visit. And you will be given the opportunity to live your own adventure and explore part of the galaxy far, far away in a virtual reality setting. So it's just super cool. It makes sense that Star Wars is a great IP for VR. And that's a lot of alphabet letters in succession. So we're going to take those. But it's just super fun. I've experimented a little bit with VR, was able to play on Steve's VR headset that he had and did some cool stuff. I think it's a really cool, neat idea. And I look forward to taking a shot at it and seeing what it's all going to be about. I like Star Wars. Star Wars is a fun world to be in. So it seems exciting, and I think my kids are going to love it. And like you said at the top of the show, kids, they don't ruin everything, but when you have kids, they start to take over, and it seems everything's about them. So they're really going to like that, and it'll just be fun to experience it with them.
Yeah, and really the main reason I brought this story up is because I got to go to Star Wars Land this year, and Michael didn't, and I just wanted to laugh at you for that. So, like they have the Vader Immortal experience on Oculus. I think that's come to PSVR. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I don't know if a VR experience in Star Wars like gets me excited to like go there. Like, if I've been to the world of Batu in Star Wars Land, you've been there like physically, and then the transfer that over is like, all right, now you can do that in VR. Like, I don't know what this game is. Like, the main thing that they did when they announced this on like their website is they're like, hey, check out this logo. It's like, I don't care about your logo. Like, what is the game? Is it a walking simulator? Am I just going to be walking around and looking at stuff? Is there actually gameplay? Like, what's like, this doesn't tell me anything other than, hey, we're working on this, which is cool. That's fine. But I mean, I don't know what it is, you know? Like,
I think unfortunately maybe, although I'm keep trying to be optimistic about it, but I think it's everything that we've come to experience from VR, right? It's unfortunately, as it currently stands, I think it's a lot of party experiences, right? So you have people over, hey, let's bust out the VR headset and let's record ourselves running into the TV
giant
and
TV.
right, and putting grandma on the roller coaster and having her freak out and having people fall
grandma.
off big stools. Like why do you put someone in a VR headset on like a
Beat up
big
on
old
the
bar
stool,
stool?
Mike.
Like what do you think is going to happen, right? So I think, Steve, that unfortunately where VR is, it's that's what it is. It's going to be a party scenario type. And I think that's okay to start with until they decide, okay, how can this really work? How can we make it where players can walk around in a virtual environment without running into the TV? How can we do it in a cool way where it really utilizes VR? Because I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if VR is like what its medium is actually for, right? So what would it be for? Maybe to walk around a Star Destroyer, because that's something that
a
so
long
far
way to
no one has
walk.
decided to build, and that's what I mean. I mean, so what could it be used for? Could you wear could you wear a VR headset holding a controller and do an FPS for 3.5 hours?
No, I think. See, this is hard because there are some
You didn't
cool
answer my question.
experiences out. Well, I'm going to try to answer your question by not answering your question and asking you
Nice.
multiple
And ask me a
questions.
couple follow-up questions.
I think there are some cool experiences in VR. Like I have a lot of VR games that I've played and then I haven't finished, and that's because I think VR is very isolating.
Mhm.
You put on your thing, you're like, all right, guys, I'm checking out. I'm in VR. My kids like it, like Beat Saber is like perfect because that's just pick up and go. And I think people that like VR really like VR. And there are some really cool experiences like Half-Life, Alex, or everything that anyone has said. Like it's it's an amazing experience. Um, but again, like they still do it's not like you're really walking around. But I mean, that's just a locomotion problem that they have to solve. A lot of people get motion sickness, so that's tough. Like if you're flying an X-wing in VR, yeah, I would be down for that. That would be super cool if it's just like dogfighting. But then again, that's a ton of motion sickness if you're not used to
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I just wish they would have told us more about what exactly this game is going to be. Like, would it be cool to walk around? Because when you think of Star Wars, like Star Wars is kind of dirty. Like I guess if you take the original trilogy, like the planets are dirty, the spaceships are dirty. Unless you're on a Star
Mhm.
Destroyer, everything's clean, and then it's just buttons. So like, what do you do to interact with things in a Star Wars universe? I mean, maybe it is going to Batu because they've got the places there where you can pick up a bunch of stuff, you can look at a bunch of things. But other than that, I don't know. Maybe I'm just all Star Wars out. But
Which is kind of
definitely
weird to
interesting.
hear you say, because it's just weird.
I mean, we've been inundated with Star Wars for the last how many years now, and it's just been Star Wars after Star Wars after Star Wars. Like I really like the Star Wars game. I wish someone would make a Rogue One game. Like I don't know why it has taken this long. Battlefront, whatever it's called, 2 has great starship combat, but it's not like there's a story in that multiple. I mean, man, Rogue Squadron could be the coolest thing. Hopefully, there's Rogue Squadron announcement at EA Play or something. Devin, will you take us to the next news item so I can stop? talking about
I
Star
can.
Wars?
I can take it to the next news item. So today, if you've been paying attention to a game called Outriders,
Anything?
yeah, if you've been paying attention to anything, but more specifically, if you've been paying
Anything?
attention to Outriders, they showed off some of that gameplay at the Xbox briefing last year, and then they showed it off a little bit, the year before that. But so today they started. I don't know if these. I'm guessing these are going to be monthly. These are broadcasts basically for like 30 minutes, where they show you 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay, then they go into detail for 10 to 15 minutes on a specific subject in the game. But there was a lot of cool stuff that they showed off today. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. Just search Outriders on YouTube and you'll be able to find it. We can post a link somewhere, I'm guessing, to it. And it's definitely well worth the watch. I recommend watching it in 4K, even if you only have a 1080p screen, because it looks real good. But some of the things we're going to talk about real quick for that, they showed off, one, they have character levels, right? So you can level up your characters, but they also have world tiers. So this is basically like their difficulty levels. If you're thinking of like tournament levels in Diablo, those kind of things, where you can go up to the higher difficulties to give you better loot, stronger enemies, those kind of things. There's also scaling in the game. I forget their exact term for it, but they have, depending on 1 players versus 3, because it's a 3-player looter shooter. The good things they did announce were it's not a live service game, so it's going to have a beginning, middle, and end. And I guess there's just going to be replayability based on the world tiers and those kind of things. They haven't really gone into a lot of detail on that just yet, so I'm interested to hear more about that, the replayability, and why we're going to push the higher tiers. They did say, you're going to need to really have a maxed out kit, basically a really, really focused build when you get to those higher world tiers. That goes from 1 to 15 right now. That's what they've showed off. You have 4 different classes of characters that you can choose from, and they showed off the Trickster, or the Assassin build, basically. And I really liked that build. I thought it was pretty cool. And the skill tree, there's 3 different skill trees that you can go through, and you can mix and match all the different abilities. It's a lot of really cool stuff, Yeah, there's another thing that said no microtransactions. What do they, determine? What's their definition of microtransaction? I don't know. Is there not going to be any kind of cosmetics you can buy? I don't know of a game that's not live service that doesn't have, that type of cosmetic microtransaction. I don't know.
But remember, this one isn't live service though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, what game that's not live service doesn't have some kind of? I mean, where's the tail, right? Where's the end that's gonna reap back all the money? Because this is going back to the games that aren't live service or don't have a long tail, where they put out DLCs and they put out, customization options and things like that you can purchase. Their only way to get their money back is from the initial launch of the game when people are buying that game, right? So there has to be some other way, because of how expensive games are to make today, that there has to be another way to get that money back in.
That's interesting, because I didn't read that when I was watching the video. It seemed like it was a very closed system. You buy the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder what they're gonna do. Basically, is it's beginning, middle, end. Here's everything they got. I'm sure they'll probably have some kind of DLC or story content that will come out later. Is my guess. I'm hoping, because it looks like a very interesting world. The stuff that they've shown off, and I don't know. I mean, it definitely looks really cool. It's frustrating. Again, I really don't like when they only have 3-player games.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's an odd number, and it really started with Destiny, and I hate Bungie for it. It
started with Lost Vikings and Battletoads back in.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean that was a long time ago. In the modern era, there was always like 4-player co-op, those kind of things, split screen, and then it turned to 3 players, and that's kind of frustrating when you have groups of 4 people that are used to playing together.
I think that had something to do with asset loading and frame rates and all that stuff.
I mean, I'm sure it probably did last gen and this current gen, but hopefully next gen,
be able to fix.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's upsetting. It's just like what was the other one that you talked about real briefly? The second extinction. That's 3 players. Again,
Godfall is gonna have 3.
Yeah, Godfall is 3 players, but. I mean, there's obviously there's 3 of us.
Some research done and found
right?
out
I don't know.
We have 2 other friends.
I don't know. I mean, I am not the most popular guy, and I have to there's like 11 to 12 people that I could play games with at any night, and it's like, oh hey, there's 4 of us together. Even when there's games that have 4 of us, it's still like, oh, I wish we could have more people to get together. More ways to get together. So I'm really interested in this. I'm interested in. I really love that they're letting you customize the user interface, which I really think a lot of games should do, because they're giving you the full level of, you can take basically everything off the screen or put all kinds of stuff on there. You can have hitbox, the numbers. You can have their shields, their health, your shields and health, your mini map, all this kind of stuff that you can put on there and change. And so I think that's really cool. I'm interested to find out more about the game, and I think some people are kind of doubting it a little bit online, basically what I was reading. And the internet is the internet, of course, and during the live stream it was a pretty negative place. I don't know why. The video was awesome that they were showing off, but it was definitely negative on YouTube and other places. But if you have a chance, it's like 25 minutes long. You can watch it in different spurts. They even cut it up into smaller sections where there's just a 12-minute one of just the gameplay, and then they have the next 12 and a half minutes where they go into detail about the character,
Yeah, the character.
Yeah, they talked about the
Character and the skill tree.
And the
I
skill
think it
tree.
was just done, and it was just done super well. Like,
Yeah,
like
so good.
presenters. I mean, it really was really well done. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. So I am
think-
excited for that.
So I think one thing about watching Outriders, I know last week I talked about the potential or the thought that Anthem should drop its live service.
Mhm.
And then seeing like Outriders being like, hey, this is not live service. This is what the game is. There's a story. If you want to play the story through, you leave it on the lowest difficulty, you get through it. If you want to push it, you can push it. It's going to be hard to do solo unless you're all leveled up. And I'm like, I think I like that. And you know, and this thought went through my head as you were talking about how are they going to make money in the future? Like, what if they just put out Outriders and that's it, and then the team moves on to make something different, you
Mhm.
know, and then they go on to the next game, which seems like, oh, that's unheard of. Like, I mean, from all accounts, looking at this game, what it is, like, it's going to sell well at launch, right?
Mhm.
We still, I hate to say it's going to be awesome because last time we make those assumptions, things happen. And I'm trying to learn my lesson about assuming things, right?
Yep.
So, but I am going to assume that it's going to sell well at launch because the game looks
It looks really
interesting.
good.
It looks fun. The sound seemed like super high, like for a lot of the things. Maybe it was just my crappy speakers I was listening to it on,
Yeah.
but like the sound might have just been off for me. But like I'm kind of excited to pick up a game that has an end and feel like I can put it down.
Yeah.
And not
Right.
feel like Devon and Mike have played 400 hours more than me. I'm
Yeah.
never gonna catch up. Like,
They got a
what's the
full
point?
day ahead of me because they took the day off and they started and played through the whole story
I
already.
didn't take the day off. I had the day off by virtue of the calendar. There's
Okay,
a difference.
whatever.
So I am excited to jump into it. Like this is not a game that I have been actively pursuing news on. And I think that also lends to my excitement for it because I'm not like, okay, every little morsel, I'm not watching all the YouTube videos of people dissecting it.
Yep.
It's like, hey, this is a game that's coming out. This looks really cool. I'll play it when it comes out and then I'll beat it. And then if there's more, there's more. If not, I can put it down and I can move on.
Move on to the next thing.
I think the problem is, though, it's like that's the old way that they used to make games before, like live service games. And that was fine when games weren't like $60 to $100 million to make, And so that's why it's like it has to be, they have to recoup all that money. If they don't have some way of recouping it another way with DLC or cosmetics, it either has to sell everything right then or they have to make it, or they have to cut stuff so that it doesn't cost as much to make. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
And it seems if you go the route of, hey, no microtransactions, you're kind of leaving money on the table because you know what? If you have a cool skin, and they did show off some
Yeah.
really cool looking weapons and stuff in the game.
That one with the horns.
Like, yeah. Like if like I do not mind giving companies money for something that makes me look cool. Hey Rusted, how's it going? Rusted's hanging out with us in the chat. So I don't mind that. As long as we're not paying for power. If it's just like, hey, this is gonna make this gun look cooler, like, yeah, I'll give you money. Like, I am more than happy to support developers. Like, and I mean, maybe no, because it's not live service, because they could, well, I don't know if you consider a season pass as live service.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
Oh, yeah,
the live service is like events and continual stuff like on a weekly basis. I think if they just do DLC, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, like Borderlands isn't live service, but they have DLC that comes out and they do patches and everything else. So I don't know. It's a tough definition, right? I mean, they could say it's not live service, but they could still be putting out patches for the game. They're obviously not going to leave it broken. Well,
Right.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
I don't know about that.
right.
But
Your bases belong to us.
yeah, but no, I mean it's going to be interesting when it comes out. It's going to be interesting to see because it's going to be if that game comes out at launch for the next gen consoles and Godfall comes out at launch, like that's a looter sword shooter, not a shooter, looter slasher,
A looter sword shooter.
but so it's like. How's it gonna fare? Which one's gonna get the most
Right.
pool? I'm guessing a game that's gonna be on all the next gen plus PC. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And but I'm interested in both of them. They both look really cool. But like Steven's been more into Godfall and I've been more into Outriders, and so it's stuff that it's always easier when you have somebody else that can look into stuff also, and you don't have to worry about every game that's out there. Which is great.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's almost like it's a team.
almost.
Devin, what's up with Xbox Series X backwards compatibility?
Ooh, it was pretty good, right? So this morning they it was kind of a misstep, I think, for me on their PR for their tweet, right? They tried to be like really like put in a dig at Sony at the same time. For those who follow the stuff in more on the deeper level, right? So because Sony basically for their rumors for their back compatibility is they have to use boost mode type of thing for their games, and they have to downclock the CPU and GPU to play their games. And so like right off the gate, their tweet from Xbox says no boost mode, no downclocking. Just uses all the power of the Xbox Series X, right? So it takes full advantage of the CPU and the GPU, and they explained what that meant. That basically means that all the backwards compatibility games are going to run better. They're going to have higher frame rates. And even on some games that's possible, they're going to double the frame rates from 30 to 60 and even from 60 to 120. They're going to upgrade the resolution on everything. It's going to take full advantage of that hardware versus, what has been rumored to be the PlayStation 5's backwards compatibility, which is basically running the game as it was on the PS4 or the PS4 Pro. So that's downclocking, your stuff, and using a boost mode like they're using for the PS4 Pro versions of back-compatible games. And, I don't know, I think it could have just been like, no boost mode necessary, no downclock required, kind of thing. It just kind of was tacky, and they had like, the first thing you see is red X marks, or whatever, instead of just all green check marks. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really cool features. Another thing they're doing is they're adding automatic HDR, right? So their AI learning, basically they developed a whole software to just add HDR to older games. Developers don't have to do anything at all. We don't know for the PlayStation, we don't know if developers have to do anything for their backwards compatible games. But for the Xbox, they have their own team internally. It does everything. The developers don't have to do anything. But basically it adds HDR, which is pretty great. It's going to take advantage of the solid state drive, the faster loading, and everything else. For all the thousands of backwards compatible games. So every Xbox One game will work, and then plus like the 500 or whatever 360 games. And I don't remember how many of the original Xbox One games are backwards compatible, but it's pretty big. It's pretty clear, and they're very transparent with their information versus what we're getting from Sony, which is really nothing. And I mean, we have, I put this on our show notes. We kind of talked about it earlier, but basically on their website, there was a cache for some information about the PlayStation 5. It's not that web page isn't working anymore off the PlayStation 5 web page. But basically on there it says lightning speed, harness the power of a custom CPU, GPU, and SSD with integrated I/O that rewrites.
That's the typo that I was asking you about.
It's like what? Rewrites the rule of what a PlayStation console can do, right? And then it says stunning games, marvel at incredible graphics, and experience new PlayStation 5 features. Play a back catalog of supported PS4 games with system update. Whatever that means, I don't know what that means. Breathtaking immersion. Discover a deeper gaming experience with support for haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and 3D audio technology. I mean, all that stuff's been out on Xbox for a while. I mean, yes, they have brand new 3D audio technologies. It's amazing. Does great things. Adaptive triggers, you have those, on like the Pro controllers, Elite controllers, those kind of things. And haptic feedback's been in there since the launch of the Xbox One. But those are big buzzwords now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's in the PlayStation. But I don't know. I mean, it's really interesting to see. We've talked about this before. It seems like nobody can do it correctly for 2 generations. Sony came out guns blazing, great messaging, everything for the PlayStation 4, just totally dominated and destroyed, took advantage of every single PR mistake Microsoft made. And Microsoft is basically doing the same thing to them, but just putting all the information out there, not doing dumb videos of this is how you share a game with your friends on PlayStation.
I mean, that video could have possibly won the entire generation for Sony. So
it could have. I mean, but realistically, if you look back at everything that Microsoft was offering, a way to sell your digital games, a way to share your digital games with your friends, all these things. Always online, which people,
Want right now.
yeah, all these things that people want to do that they were whining, complaining about, and blah, 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 always online. We don't want to be always online, yet every one of their games is always, all these big games are always online, including Outriders. Outriders is an always online experience, going back to that topic. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible, that they can do that with their back compat, especially jumping up the frame rates and the, basically AI done, HDR. I mean, when they kind of revealed the Xbox Series X with Digital Foundry, they kind of showed off that HDR basically for Halo 5, and that was made before HDR was even a thing for video games, and they showed it off in Halo 5.
Yeah. I mean, how many people have HDR compatible TVs? I mean, maybe I'm just a whole generation behind on my TV that I don't have HDR.
I mean, if
but-
you're getting a new 4K TV, a lot of them, that's the big thing for
Yeah.
the 4K HDR TVs.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, because they're always talking about, 120 frames per second. Like, do people know that they have to have a TV that does 120 hertz in order to take a full advantage of that? Is that
Take
something
advantage of
that
it.
people know?
I
Like,
bet it's
that's-
not common knowledge.
Yeah. Or they're just like, yeah, my console or my TV can do this. And they're like, oh, you have to turn on that feature. It's like, look how smooth it is, but you don't have the
Yeah,
feature
and
turned on.
and
Oh,
they're still running it like at 30 frames. Like, anyway, so
Yeah.
my big thing is, like, I'm kind of tired of Xbox and Sony right now. Just show us the games, right? Like, cool, you're not doing boost mode, Xbox, you're not overclocking, whatever. But I just want to know what the next generation games look like. I don't want to look
Yep.
at a tech demo, which looked amazing, like the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, which the flying was not, controlled by a player. But I want to see Halo 5 in
Discord's gonna
action.
blow up now, Steven. Way to
Yeah,
go.
I want to see whatever first party title Sony is going to put out and showcase
Yeah.
on the PlayStation 5, because I don't know any of their first party titles that are coming to PlayStation 5.
Well, I got good news for you, Steven.
Will you tell me some good news?
There's a rumored event for the 3rd of next week. The PlayStation rumored event, right?
And that's what I want to see. I want to see the games running. I'm tired of talking about teraflops. I'm tired of talking about what speeds people can and can't have, because you know what? It doesn't mean anything, like, unless the games look good and unless the games play good, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, there's always the thing, like, even in a recent interview that Phil Spencer did with Reggie Fils-Aimé, or however you say his name, on his podcast. And he was like, you really can't see, I mean, you're watching a video, but it doesn't do it justice, the power of next-gen consoles, until you actually play it and you can feel, the game, right? So you can feel how smooth it is.
Right.
And I'm interested in that. I'm interested to see what they're going to do for that. And I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see what Sony's going to bring to the table, and what they're bringing first party wise. Because right now, like, I don't even know. Like, all their big guns are like getting
Last of Us is coming out.
blown
Ghost
out the
is
barrel
coming out.
before the console even comes out. So I don't know.
Unless Insomniac announces Spider-Man 2 as a launch title
Yeah,
for PlayStation 5,
I don't think that's
like,
realistic.
I don't see that. I don't think it's realistic either, because I mean, a new platform building from the ground up. I mean, unless I just
They're gonna have
want
like a
to see
PlayStation
what-
5 version of Spider-Man.
and that's probably true. I mean, I'm guessing it's probably going to be backwards compatible. I mean, they've already shown Spider-Man running on a PS5, but I just want to see what is going to be new, and I want to see what the crap is all about. Like, there was an upcoming issue of the official game PlayStation magazine. So I mean, take this with a grain of salt, because it's PlayStation saying, "Hey, look how cool our PlayStation is." But they said there's 38 different PS5 titles coming to Sony's next gen console. Okay. So 38 titles. That sounds like a super cool headline you can slap on a magazine. But when you read through this list, Dragon Age 4 is on this list.
Not a single first party game.
Okay. Like, we don't know when Dragon Age 4 is coming out. We don't know when what are the other ones on here? We don't know when Starfield is coming out.
Yeah.
We certainly don't know when Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out. Like, we don't know when, like, Warframe. Okay, Warframe's probably gonna, you can probably play Warframe like the PlayStation 4 version of Warframe on a PlayStation 5. So I don't understand like when they say, "Hey, look at these titles." Like it just sucks that they do stuff like this. Like, "Hey, look at this list. We don't know when any of these games are coming out, but look at this list," right? I just want to see games being played on the Xbox, on Sony. Like I would actually honestly want to see, next gen titles being played on Stadia also, to let me know if that's where I should be spending my money.
Well,
If
that
it
thing's
should
still
be,
there?
like, on it. Yeah, Stadia is still there. And you know what? Someday Stadia is going to have a killer app that people are going to like, I have to play it here, because that's, Stadia, that's the only place we'll be able to play it and get those kind of features that are offered on a cloud, right? Someday that'll happen. It's not, I don't know when, but I just want to see, what the next generation is going to bring. I don't want it to be a tech demo. I want to see it, and I want to see it now. And we're going to see it soon. We're probably going to see a bunch of stuff next month from PlayStation. We're probably going to see a bunch of stuff next month from Xbox, I hope, whether that's first party or third party, I'm not sure, but I just want to see this stuff. So anyway, I think we've beat that horse to death. So what I want to do is I want to talk about something that all three of us have been playing to different degrees, and I want to talk about Minecraft Dungeons, right? So Mike, I want your impressions on Minecraft the Dungeons.
Minecraft Dungeons is I was talking to Devon when we did our stream a couple days ago. It's more fun than it should be. Like, it's a super fun game, and it doesn't seem like it would be. You think Minecraft, you're like, Minecraft, really? Dungeons? Okay, I guess dungeons, but like you get in there and you play and you're like, holy cow, this game is really fun. And I had a whole lot of fun playing it. Not to say that it's not without its issues, but I mean, but it took me back to like Diablo 3 days. It's just fun. It's and again, this whole thread of the kids, being able to play with my kids and teach them how to do a dungeon crawler. All right, guys, like, I know you like those knives, but they're a level 3. You need to move up to this higher level gear that you have to get a higher level, like that whole progression. You can't just keep the stuff that looks good. You have to follow the progression so you can get the higher level gear. Right now you're working on a ranged build, like, so you need to pick artifacts that really lean to that and help you fulfill that. Okay, now you've got a melee build going. That's a really good melee weapon. So let's look at artifacts now that help support your melee, and then reminding them that you've got to have some type of health artifact in there, or you're not going to last very long. So it's just fun to kind of go through and teach them in a game that they already understand, right? So they understand Minecraft. They understand, they know the names of all the baddies that we're fighting, and I'm like, no, that's just the tall spaghetti looking dude. He's just really tall, all right? So like, no,
Enderman.
that's this guy. Exactly. That's this guy. Oh, you're being shot by this guy. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's just super fun. I really like the cartoony stylization. That's just fun for me. It's challenging. Devon and I ran into that. Like it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. You think Minecraft and you think, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk, and it's not. Even playing with my boys and even with myself a little bit. That's funny. Even playing just as me.
Don't admit that on here.
Playing with myself is difficult. Okay.
So just playing, single player, it's challenging. It's not easy, and it's not supposed to be, and it's super super fun. There could be some things fixed about it, but I won't go into that until you guys tell me how you do and did.
Devon, how do you do?
Yeah, so my initial impressions, like, day one was really frustrating for me. It was really fun, but frustrating. Right, so I enjoy the game. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. But progression is not cross save, right? So I was playing with my boys. We were all playing on the Xbox on our TV in the living room, and which is super chaos with 4 people playing. And but I was like, oh, here's my character. It's this level, and I go to load up on my PC. I'm like, oh, start a new character. I was like, what? And I knew it wasn't crossplay, but I figured with a Microsoft account, that should be cross-save compatible right there. I mean, I understand not being cross-save between Xbox, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch right out the gate, but you know, Xbox Live for both PC and Xbox, that should just, you know, that stuff needs to be there day one when you're a first-party title, and so that was really frustrating. And then what made it even more frustrating is it's not cross-save on PC. And so, like we talked about earlier in the show, I have two computers, and the one I stream on is out in my garage because, based on the pandemic and the schedules, my wife is home more in the evenings now, and so she likes to watch TV and doesn't want to turn the volume down. And so I'm out in the garage where it's hot with no air conditioning, and so, but my character, like in the garage, is like level 16. And I'm like, I would like to go into the air conditioning and play my character that's level 16 inside. But instead, I have to sit out in the garage and keep using that character. So it's really frustrating. And like the first day, I started 4 characters on the first day, which I was really not happy about. And I talked about it on the Discord. Like, basically, if this wasn't, you know... And there was other issues with getting the downloadable content, because I purchased the hero version, right, the $30 version, because it gives you the 2 DLCs and stuff. Because I was like, I'm really going to play this game. It looks really like a lot of fun. And so whenever I find a game on Game Pass that I like, I buy the game and I support the developer that way. So, you know, I was new out of the gate. I'm just going to buy that. But on PC, it was still, I don't have it on either one of my PCs, the DLC for the hero edition. Which like is just a cape and a chicken right now that follows you around. But on console, it was not a problem at all. It just automatically is there, it works. It's not an issue. But on PC, it frustrates me because it only keeps entering the base version of Minecraft and not giving me, even though it says you own this, I can't install it anywhere because it doesn't let you install it separately. Even when I go to manage it, it doesn't let me install it. And so it's really irritating to me about that because I'm like, all right, I paid for the DLC and other things, so if you don't give that to me, I mean, this needs to be fixed. But overall, it's really fun. I'm excited to keep playing some more. I'm like some of my main characters. I'm level 16, power level 22, because I got some awesome gear. You know, because Mike, when he said, "Oh, we're playing on normal," I'm pretty sure he picked a harder level than what it's supposed to be, and that's why we were getting our clocks cleaned. But because when I'm playing at the appropriate level, it's not that bad. Right? When you play the suggested level, it's not bad.
Is there a way to pull your save off your computer and just transfer your save file?
No. And that's the problem also, because they're saying, oh, well, your save is on that local device, but that doesn't make sense when the Xbox transfers no problem. You know, it syncs up and it logs you in and says syncing content. And so that's why I was like really frustrated, because I played on Xbox first, and then I played on the Xbox on my TV, and then I went to the Xbox at my desk. Worked no issues, no problem, right? And so I was like, okay, let me log into the PC, and I logged into my account. There was no syncing. And I was like, middle finger at the screen. You know?
So my initial impressions of the game are, I think the game looks really good. I wish there was some RTX stuff thrown in there on the PC, just because I think that would be because I want every game to use RTX, because if I paid for the card, I want everyone to use it.
Yeah.
I think it is a very competent entry-level action RPG. It's quick and it's fun. I don't think I'm interested in playing more than the hour that I played, unless I'm playing with my kids or with someone else.
So you're not interested in playing it solo?
No, I don't think I would play this game solo. Like, I did it for an hour on stream.
You don't like playing with yourself?
I don't like playing with myself.
It's weird.
So, like, we had a lot of fun playing together, me and my kids. Now this conversation is just getting weird. It's taking on a weird tone. And you know what? For me, it's not even so much like playing the game, but my kids get so excited playing the game. And it's just fun watching them be excited about how this blows up and the new thing that they got, and all these, you know, finding the little creepers riding chickens. Like, they get really excited because they're super into Minecraft. I think this is a perfect, like I said, it's a perfect entry into an action RPG. I think it's like the game. I think there could be a lot more depth, but I think if you added more depth, then
I think it would get
it
lost.
would. No, well, and I don't want to say it's like, oh, kids wouldn't understand it because kids are smart. I mean, kids
They are.
know a ton of crap in Minecraft, so they'd figure it out. But I think just the ease of picking up and going and playing is like huge in this game. Or you don't need to be told like, go collect this, go do this. It's just like, hey, go here, fight these guys. You know, if you want to explore, cool. If not, whatever. So like, watch. I mean, my kids love it. So it's like the best $20 ever spent because this is like the first game that got my oldest to stop playing Minecraft, and I like shoot a ton of games at him, being like, "Hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this?" But he always goes back to Minecraft. So this is the first time in a really long time where he's just
I
been like,
mean,
"Nope,
it's
I'm gonna play."
Minecraft.
It is still
It's
Minecraft.
Minecraft, but it's Minecraft Dungeons, and then it got me thinking like this opens up the potential for Minecraft to do a lot more games, right? They've done an action RPG. What is the Minecraft kart racer going to look like? What is, you know, an open RPG, an action, not action RPG, but a third person Minecraft game? What does that look like? You know, does this give Microsoft Mojang like the ability to say, well, what else can we do? I mean, they've already made all the money in the world with Minecraft. Like, why not try something different?
Well, and I think they are, right? Like, did you see their new logo announcement video
Oh no, I didn't see that for
for Mojang?
Microsoft or for Mojang.
Mojang, yeah. So they have 5 studios, 4 or 5 studios across the world. Yeah. And so in there it talks about like I'll link it, I'll send it to you, but it talks about they're experimenting with new ideas and new games and all this stuff. And it's like, where's the future going to take us? You know, it's an exciting time when they put out their new logo and all this stuff. And so it's always surprising when you're like, oh, they have this many studios? Holy crap! Okay, cool. And you know, so it's exciting. So like when you think about it, okay, so yeah, they count, you know, as Mojang counts as one of the Xbox game studios, but they have 4 or 5. I can't remember the exact number. It's 4 or 5 studios within that one studio. They have 4 or 5 locations that work on different things. And if you think about Minecraft Dungeons, it was only a small portion of the team or one of the teams that made Minecraft Dungeons. It wasn't even everybody.
Right.
Just like the RTX Minecraft stuff was made by one guy, you know, and over like a couple months. And so, I mean, I don't know, whatever they're working on it. So, if it's good, it's good. All right.
And I think Minecraft Dungeons is good, and I am excited that my kids are having so much fun playing it. Like this is, like if they were, man.
I'm just surprised you don't want to play by yourself. What's your character level, Steven? Is he a scrub? What level is he?
So I only played for an hour, and I made it through like the first 3 levels or whatever. Like there's just, for me personally, there's nothing driving me to like continue to improve my character, right? Like I can go get stuff, but I mean, but doing it alone, it just wasn't that much fun to me. I'm like, I think the game is good. I think it's going to be great for my boys to continue to play it and find dogs and, you know, shoot the mans. But for me, there's just not a drive to like, okay, I need to beat this game because I need to see the end. I mean, there's very little story, right? There's
what are you talking about? It's just dripping with story.
And I'm glad that you guys like it. And it's not like a dig, like, oh, you guys like this kid's game. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just for me, I'm like, okay, like I know what this game is now after playing it for an hour. I think it's good. I think there's some depth there that people are going to enjoy, but I don't think I need to play through it to see all of that, to know like what the game is. Like,
it hasn't gotten your competitive bug that both Mike and I are higher level than you, and our characters are better.
You want to hear my competitive bug? So I was looking at the achievements for this game because I've been tracking this. So of all my friends, like my kids are ranked number 2 in mobs killed. They're also ranked number 1 in deaths. They have like the top rank in death. That's probably because of my youngest. They're second in distance traveled. Let's see, 4th in chest open, 4th in amount healed. My kids do not heal each other. That's a huge item of contention. They never like pick me up. No, I'm busy. It's like, dude, just pick up your little brother. He's right there.
All the time.
Hundreds of mobs. Like, dude, just heal him. So they're second in artifacts used. I am surprised that they're 3rd in friend revives. and they're fourth and highest level character. And my kids are higher level than both of you. So,
Well, they should be. They are at home doing nothing but playing Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
and I think this is like one of the reasons why I don't feel that competitive edge, because on my app, like, yeah, I am higher than you guys because my kids are putting in the work. So.
No, your character is not.
No, because I'll just log in and play my oldest character, and he's like got all this sweet gear. So, and I don't know if that's part of it.
That's
but,
some bull.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm glad it's a fun game. Like, and when more DLC comes out, I'm guessing they're just going to keep adding more and more to it when they see the success of it. And you know what? It's on Game Pass, so it's like a no-brainer for people to go in and play the game.
100%. Right? Yep.
So, yeah, do it, especially now. Like, what other games are you going to be playing? Animal Crossing? Be on the Talk Show? Anyway, so yeah, that's Minecraft Dungeons. Mike, you said you were having other problems also?
I don't think there's enough loot.
No, I agree. I don't think you get enough loot to like swap in and out, and I think that's like a conscious decision by the developer to be like, we don't need to have rings and belts and hairbands.
No, I think that's fine. I like the gear pieces that they've selected. I just need more than 2 of them per level.
Yeah,
I think they've chosen weird prices for their blacksmith, and then the
well, I mean, the price goes up as you level.
It does, but it's still just weird to me. Like make it like 20 or 80 or 100. Like, don't make it 82 or
it's 89, then it's 94.
It just bugs me. It's not a round number.
Arbitrary numbers.
Yeah,
and I don't think like those, like, getting random loot sucks all the time. Like, I don't think there's, like, the times that I went in there for like the hour I played, I never got anything that I upgraded from using random,
Yeah.
Just gotta upgrade your luck stat, Mike. Okay.
So my kids have a ton of emeralds and they never spend them. They also never delete anything. I'm like, why are you guys holding on to all this white garbage? Get this out of here. What is this?
Get this out.
I have taught my boys how to delete, and they are running. They have their 3 weapons, or they have their 2 weapons and armor, and their 3 artifacts, and that's it. Every time they upgrade something else, they delete it. I do like that that the enchantment. I don't even know what they are. The enchantment currency. I like that comes back to you if you
because it's based on your level.
You salvage. Right? Yeah, if you salvage an already enchanted piece, you get those enchantment currency back. So I think that's cool.
So you said you're only getting 2 items per level?
It feels like it.
Huh. Yeah, like, because when I'm playing solo, I'm getting like 4 to 6 per level. I mean, you open up every box.
I mean, that's still not a lot. Like,
every box
it's only like 10 minutes for a level though. So
well, and it seems like boss battles don't give you much. I don't feel like I've gotten a lot from boss encounters.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and do some like actual data and stuff, but it just doesn't seem like there's enough there to even play with the build. It seems like I'm stuck with the same gear for maybe a level and a half to 2 levels before I can be like, okay, now I can upgrade.
It should be raining loot. I'm just glad, Mike, that you're like playing video games again, and it took Minecraft to do that.
I've been playing, not as much as I used to, but
I've been playing Frogger. Right.
I think that's a conscious decision because I spent a lot of time in the games that I played, and so I need to kind of take a break.
It's been like 4 years since you stopped playing Destiny.
Well, yeah, it really has.
You've also spent like almost 4 years playing Destiny, so I guess those scales are coming to a balance. So cool. I'm glad you guys are liking Minecraft Dungeons, and I'm excited to see what else comes from that team. So good on them.
I'm excited that you've decided to play at least 2 hours of Minecraft Dungeons every week, so you'll be able to.
I will update. I will interview my kids 30 minutes every week, and we'll add that to the end of the show, and they can tell you exactly what they've been up to. So yeah, so I think that's the end of our main show. I think we got a couple things that we can talk about. We have a segment called So Good that we can talk about, and
So
really,
good.
Yeah, it's just an excuse to play this bumper, right?
So good. Oh, so good. Are you kidding me? That is how it's done, my man. It's so great, am I right?
So this is just where we get to talk about random stuff that happened in the week that we thought was super cool and super exciting, because that's the end of our video game talk, and we can just talk about whatever until we end the show here. So one thing so today, Mike and I have a cousin that flies Blackhawks for the military. And he flew into town today, and he was like, hey, come swing by the airport and bring your kids, and we'll let your kids climb all over this military vehicle when he landed. So we got to go over to the airport, got to see him land. Our kids got to jump inside of the cockpit of a Black Hawk. He showed them around everything, all the buttons, the buckles, where they put people if they get injured. And like our kids like kind of geeked out about that, and they had a pretty awesome time, like getting to see a Black Hawk up close and personal, which is something I've never been able to do. So I was low key geeking out, because like aviation, like I love helicopters and planes, right? Like if it's a helicopter, a robot, or a dragon, like I'm in. So I'm like low key geeking out, trying not to like fanboy out over this piece of machinery. So it was just really cool experience, and that was something that was super cool. It was super good, so good. Devin, do you have something that's so good?
Yeah, no, that's funny because I was thinking about that. So one of my cousins, he actually flies Apache helicopters for the military. Cool. He used to do a lot of support for special ops, and he still does. But and I was thinking to myself, can I tell him where he's at right now? I was like, if I know where he's at, it can't be classified, right?
If you know, it's not that.
I was like, if I know where he's at, no, but I mean, he's cool. I mean, he's not in America, but.
Nice.
So no, I mean it's really interesting. Helicopters are obviously cool, We're kind of lucky that a lot of military training comes through our town because we have an airport that's not really used very much, and so the military gets to come and do whatever they call the touch and go all the time. We get Chinook helicopters all the time coming over my house and just.
And they are loud.
They are very loud, but it's really cool. My kids are excited every time they fly over. And because flyovers are cool, so
they're so good,
so good. Yeah, no, other than that, it's just just video games, and that's it.
Mike, do you have anything that's so good this week?
So I do share the Black Hawk experience, because that was awesome, and my kids geeked out, my daughter especially, because she was just so excited. But in the interim, I have been working on our backyard, and it is ready to be seen by the public, because it was not previously. We had a pretty terrible backyard, but it is now full of grass and full of playground equipment and shade and just fun stuff to do. And I'm pretty proud of it, because it really is so good. It's a great backyard now. The kids love it.
It's so good, and now the public still can't come over. But
Still can't come over. We're
actually going to be. I think our town is opening up at the 1st of June, at least to
Well,
minimum capacity on a lot of things.
The entire state is actually opening up.
Yeah,
which
we
is
caught
really
up.
exciting. We'll
Had
talk
nothing to
about
do
that
with the large protests.
We'll talk about that off air.
I don't think large protests have much to do with anything.
It was all the
I'll tell you
masks, according to our
exactly what it
governor.
has to do
Right?
with it. I'll tell you exactly what off air what has to do with it.
We're not
I'm
politically
sure.
motivated at all around here.
No, we're actually not. We don't talk about politics on this show. So, and that's why this show is so good, because we don't talk about politics. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out for episode 124 of the Freelancer Codex podcast.
What's in the box? All right.
I was gonna do what's in the box, but I did not do what's in the box.
Oh, so you're a liar then.
Oh, good.
I mean, you tweeted it out. You said we're doing what's in the box. I mean, it's not like if you say you're gonna burn your Crocs at so many followers and then you don't. I mean, I don't know.
I thought you were doing a rhyming thing there. I thought you were gonna go with like burn your Crocs and live in a box and buy a pet fox.
No, I just really don't like it when people say they're gonna do things to get followers or whatever, and then they don't do it, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're really gonna do that when we
These are
get
my
this."
favorite Crocs.
No, nothing.
me-
It's just frustrating.
You give me like 2 minutes, all right? Just give me 2 minutes. You guys can keep
So
monologuing about
you did
Crocs
not
and
prepare for what's in a box, and but that's okay. We're
It'll really
excited
take me,
to
like,
see
It'll take me like 2 seconds to get
what's in the box. It's it rocks or socks. What's in the box?
You have to live with
Unless
the
you're
fox.
just gonna sing, and I don't know
Nothing.
let this go.
Eat nothing but locks.
No, so for me, it's really surprising that Steven does not want to play Minecraft Dungeons.
I thought so too. Yeah. That is really.
I'm
I
actually
think
kinda
I know
shocked
what
about
is,
it.
though, because I had a couple experiences with my kiddos today that was just kind of frustrating, because they don't play.
Oh, it's hard when you play with people that suck. All right, I mean it's hard to do that when.
But
people...
the funny thing is they're your kids, so you don't want to like bring them down. You don't want to like, no guys, really we can't just leave this place. We have to come over here and do this and this and this, and it's just frustrating. So I think that's what Steve.
You should try and play a game
it's
about
sour.
pirates and sailing the seas with children who are just like, I'm gonna lower the anchor right now. The sail that you raised up, I'm dropping it down. Oh,
Are you
sorry.
talking about playing with Paige?
No, I'm talking about my children.
I thought
That happens with
was
Paige too sometimes. But no, it's my kids love Sea of Thieves, so that's also. I mean, they like Minecraft Dungeons, but they love Sea of Thieves. They want to play every single day. Especially my youngest son, he's always like, "Can we play Sea of Thieves?" I'm like, "No." He's all, "Well, can I watch you play Sea of Thieves?" No. Can I watch somebody else play Sea of Thieves? No. So can I play Sea of Thieves? No.
Get online and watch someone stream it.
Yeah, no, he if he doesn't get to play, he's like, "Can I watch Sea of Thieves?" I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
And
man.
but I mean, they love it so much, and they do jack diddly while we're playing, and it's really frustrating for me. I can only do like an hour, tops, and I'm just like, all right, I have to really, they're just gonna shoot me all the time and just shoot themselves out of the cannons, make lots of noise, draw attention to us, so we're probably gonna get murdered. Our ship's gonna get sunk. But no, I mean, it's funny, it's fun, but at the same time, it's frustrating. Like I had set up a whole new account for my son so we can play on 3 different devices, so we can do
Nice.
3 of us playing all at the same time, and it's fun. But playing with kids can be very trying, and it tries my patience. Even with Minecraft Dungeons, like that one for me was like playing with all 4 of them was a little much. Because, like, they're just all dying all the time, and they're like, can you fix everything? And it's like, no, I cannot. Not with... I can't even tell what my character is. What's going on? That's the other thing, like,
That's funny.
we're all wearing wolf armor. Would you stop wearing the wolf armor?
We're all wearing wolf armor, and since all 4 of us are on screen at once, every time someone moves away,
Yeah.
screen zooms out, and you're like, "What is happening here?"
Yep. It's like, come back over here. We need to go this way. No, I want to go this way.
Exactly.
Come back over here. That's why, like, when I was playing with you on the stream, I was like, oh, it's so nice that I don't have to share the screen
You
real
have your
estate
own
with you.
Screen. You have your own screen. Yeah.
And no, I'm not lonely. It's funny, when you go too far away from each other. It's like, are you lonely? Do you want to teleport to your friend?
No, I don't.
I
There's
don't.
A reason I'm
I'm
here.
exploring the map on this side.
It's just super fun. I like it a lot. I like it a
Yes.
lot. Good stuff coming out from Minecraft.
And you guys should like it. Like me not being super excited.
I'm just
about it.
disappointed in you, Stephen. I don't even know who you are anymore.
It is true.
Devin, I sent you a tweet, okay? Will you put this up? This is the What's in the Box trivia for Mike. I sent you 2 of them.
Okay.
So I sent you the first one of just the front cover, and then the second one is of the back cover.
Oh, I gotta log in.
The only way I thought I would be able to get it to you quickly, so we will have Mike, because we're using Mike as the guinea pig on this, to guess what's in the box. And I'm going to quickly find some gameplay of this. And this is... It's actually really hard to find like something that would be interesting to what's in the box. Okay, because a lot of them like, oh, they're super easy. It's like, oh, this is Madden 2007. Yeah, you can kind of guess what's in the box. So when Devin pulls that up, he's going to share it with everyone on screen. I think Devin will probably do a screen share so that everyone can see exactly what Mike is trying to figure out. All right, so Mike can see. You can see that, right, Mike?
I can.
All right. So Michael, for everyone that is listening in podcast land, will you please describe the box?
So this is a game that was on Nintendo GameCube. It is called Second Sight. looks like it comes from the Codemasters. And what Second Sight is about. So let me tell you about the cover. So on the cover, we see a silhouetted, either I'm guessing it's a dude. So he has his head in his hands. He is looking down, and he is holding a gun in a kind of a distraught, kind of what is going on type manner. And
Your
again,
face? Sorry.
and again, the title is Second Sight. And so what this game is about, obviously, is that this is a medium type of character. He knows he can see the future. He has psychic abilities, and his whole mission is to go and stop himself from committing crimes because of his second sight. He can see what he's going to do, and it's not the best thing to do. So he is his own enemy, and he has to go battle himself so that he can save the world.
All right. So what genre is it? First person? Is it first person shooter?
Oh, this is a top down. Let's see, GameCube. This is a first person. This is a third person shooter.
Let me tell you a little bit about who made this game, right? So the developer is Free Radical Design. They broke off. Did you ever play a game called GoldenEye or Perfect Dark? The Nintendo 64.
I've heard of GoldenEye. That's the one where you're a miner, right? And you're in gold mines in Africa.
Oh, you stabbed me. You stabbed me.
This is actually really good history that people should know. So I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, so Rare, right? Rare. They made GoldenEye, and so when they were going to do the next game, because GoldenEye was a huge hit, success, GoldenEye, based off the movie, James Bond, GoldenEye, video game, huge for Nintendo 64, absolutely loved that game. So they were going to try and do another GoldenEye movie, but Activision bought the rights and way overpaid and made a bunch of crappy James Bond games that never lived up to the hype of GoldenEye. But anyway, so while they were making Perfect Dark, half the team left and formed a new studio called Free Radical Designs. And this game was one of the games that they made. They also made Time Splitters, which I absolutely love that series. So it was a shooter game, but if you think of kind of GoldenEye and other things, that's kind of think about that when you're thinking about this game.
Devon, I sent you a link for some gameplay. Will you put some gameplay up for some people? Because I'm going to read the back of the box so we can all know what exactly this game is about. Because there is some pretty awesome quotes on the back of this box from whenever this game was released. When was this game released? So this is the back of the box, Mike, so that you can know exactly what Second Sight is about. John Vatic, V-A-T-T-I-C, awakens from a coma with no memory. What he does remember isn't pretty. That sounds like the Logan thing. I'm the best at what I do, but what I do isn't very good. A Spec Ops mission gone wrong, capture, bizarre brain experimentation. He also knows he possesses unimaginable powers, paranormal psionic powers. Armed with these abilities, Vatic must unravel the truth of his past and destroy the military conspiracy moving in against him. So actually not too far off, Mike. So well done on using Second Sight as trying to figure that out.
Boy.
Right. So this is the quote on the back of the box from GameSpot. All right. So hold on to your butts for this one. Boasts an array of special effects that wouldn't look out of place in a movie. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Who did this? GameSpot?
GameSpot, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Game Informer says innovative and engaging, high-powered firearms, awesome third-person sniper rifle, tranquilizers, SMG, and more.
Aging and waking.
Dual-time
They go
story,
together,
actions you
right?
keep playing
I had gained
flashbacks,
70
affect events in the
pounds despite-
future. It's kind of a cool idea. Paranormal powers, possesses enemies, wipe out a room with a psi blast and become invisible. Locations span the globe, tundras of Siberia, streets of NYC, Vermont Asylum, and more. So,
I mean, I picked this game up 100% and I played through it.
Come on, Harry, buzz me through.
did you really?
What you got there?
I'm actually interested in the Metacritic score.
I was like, you can't hear this audio, but the guy is like on drugs, so he's like
Guess he won't
echoing.
be dating again.
No, it's better that we don't hear it.
He's a psycho killer.
Sweet.
It's hilarious. It's like, where's
That's
the echo coming
classified.
from? But it's in the game itself.
Why do they keep these users alive?
The lab one.
But yeah.
So there was a
As
PC
what?
port, so
The
this
crash
came out in
test dummy?
2000 and-
Who knows? He's been wired up to a box all summer. And maybe he's curing cancer.
A lot's changed since
Did you
then.
see that?
This
You
came
think
out in
he can hear us?
2004
He can hear all he wants.
on a game.
Hey, Doc, more monkey juice over
Wow,
here.
this is kind of blowing my
Steve
mind
Devon.
right now.
Be
This is a
careful with
crisis,
that
man.
one.
I'm having second
me
sight
see.
right here. This game does not. This looks
Hold
like
his
a
arm a moment.
1998 game.
No, dude, these graphics could be in a movie,
It
right?
really could be in a movie. I'm kind of
This-
blown away right now.
A movie.
So the game was actually reviewed very well. It's got a Metacritic score of 76 for PS2, 77 on the GameCube. For some reason, it deserved 1 point higher on the GameCube. And yeah, I actually like turning this "What's in the Box" feature of Michael making weird predictions about games into like an interview of these things. So I'm gonna do better, Devon. Devon has encouraged me, and if I say I'm gonna burn Crocs, I'll burn Crocs. But I will make sure that we do more info on these games and kind of do a deep dive into some of these older titles, because this is kind of interesting. Like for
Why can't I remember
2005,
anything?
mind you. Okay, this is 2005. This
I
is
gotta get
after
this door
Jurassic Park.
I guess that switch out there opens the door.
That game
This is movie level
I could
quality,
just
right?
press it.
an
Whoa.
array of special
How
effects
though?
that wouldn't look out of place in a movie. Like, I don't know what movie you're watching. I don't know like
Strange.
if GameSpot is
So
not
much medical
seeing like I don't
equipment,
know
but no
Independence
paint.
Day or things like that came out before 2005.
It's no use.
But that's kind of a ridiculous.
I don't
quote.
think I
Guess
can
what?
go
It
on.
only
I
took up 5
feel
memory
so
blocks on
weak.
your GameCube,
What's happening?
This has been episode 124 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Thank you
Hey,
for letting us take
that's
that deep
amazing.
dive into
I
these
suddenly
games. We're gonna do some
feel a little
like
better.
history of games is super interesting to me. So we're gonna do more of that. We have some upcoming interviews next week. We're gonna be featuring an interview with a different Anthem community, the Lego Maniacs, who have been playing Anthem nonstop since the game released. We're going to interview them, talk about their experience with the game, what they want for the game, like how and why they continue to grind up the leaderboards week after week. We're going to be bringing other interviews from some writers, other game developers. We're going to be talking to in the upcoming weeks. So thank you so much for your support. If you want to throw a couple bucks our way to help us with the cost of websites and all this stuff, you can do that at patreon.com/freelancercodex. You can find Devon on Twitter at Neverfear. You can find Mike on Twitter at Codex Mike. You can find me at I mainly just use the Freelancer Codex for everything, or you can find me at Steve Lamson. I'm going to try to update that a little bit more. But thank you so much for everything that you do as a community. We love you all. Please stay safe. Share the podcast with people. Share it with friends. You know, if you want to send us a review us on iTunes, the Google App Store, on Spotify. Do all that. If you want to follow us on Twitch, do that at twitch.com/freelancercodex. Help us get up to 50. We can hit that affiliate status. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, there's something in the box and we don't know what it is.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Freelancer Codex, on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or through email at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Join the Discord through the link provided at freelancercodex.com. Our show will always be free, but if you'd like to send some support, you may do so at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Our individual Twitter handles are at Stephen Lamson, at mlamson25, at Neverfear, and at JD the Joke Dealer. Freelancers, it's time to get to work.